Sherk. In Islam, the most serious offense isn't violence, it's shirk, putting anything on the same level as God. That could mean idol worship, claiming someone else controls your future, or even swearing by something other than Allah. It's not just a theological typo, but it's considered spiritual treason. Unlike other sins, shirk has no forgiveness if a person dies without repenting. That's how seriously it's taken. Islamic history is full of stories where entire nations fell into ruin for this one crime. It's the reason the Quran repeats the message over and over. There is no God but Allah. No partners, no rivals, no exceptions. Murder. Taking a life unjustly is one of the greatest sins in Islam, right behind shirk. The Quran equates killing one person to killing all of humanity. That's how heavy the weight is. It doesn't matter if the person is poor, annoying, or your cousin twice removed. Human life is sacred. There are exceptions, like self-defense or legal justice, but outside of that, murder shuts the door on forgiveness, unless the killer truly repents and seeks mercy. Prophet Muhammad even said a person could spend their whole life praying, but if they take a life without right, paradise might not be an option. So no, this isn't a forgive and forget situation, especially if the forget part involves burying a body in your backyard. False accusation. Within the religion, accusing someone of adultery without proof is a massive offense. And proof doesn't mean I heard something, it means 4 eyewitnesses. Not 3, not a phone recording, 4 actual people who saw the same thing. This rule protects people from slander, rumors, and personal vendettas. If someone throws out a baseless accusation, they're not just gossiping, instead they're committing a punishable sin. The penalty is 80 lashes and a permanent mark on their credibility. You lose your voice in court after that, literally. Even if someone's behavior raises eyebrows, Islam says, stay quiet unless you're certain, because once a lie gets loose, there's no catching it, and you're the one it stains. Abandoning the Quran. For some people, the Quran stays wrapped in velvet, tucked on a shelf, only touched during funerals or big holidays. But neglecting it, not reading, understanding, or acting on it, it is seen in Islam as a serious failure. The Quran isn't just for show, it's guidance. Ignoring it while chasing every other source of advice is like throwing away a map and asking for directions every 10 minutes. The Prophet himself warned that some people would treat the Quran like background noise, not by hating it, but by leaving it unopened. In Islam, silence towards scripture isn't neutral, it's rejection in slow motion. Theft. Stealing isn't just frowned upon in Islam, it's considered a direct attack on community trust. And we're not talking about accidentally keeping a pen. Theft here means deliberate, sneaky, and significant stealing, something that breaks public safety. In early Islamic law, a thief caught red-handed with evidence could face amputation of the hand, but not for hunger or survival. The point wasn't punishment, it was deterrence. You're not just taking property, you're ripping a hole in the social fabric. And in case you're thinking of cutting corners on technicalities, the standard of proof is high. Drinking alcohol. Wine, beer, vodka, gummy bears is all off limits. Islam doesn't just say don't get drunk, it says don't touch alcohol at all. Not sip it, not sell it, not even pass it to someone else. The reason is that it clouds judgment. The Quran says it causes more harm than benefit, and when your faith is built on clear thinking and discipline, that's a deal breaker. One drink today, and tomorrow you're trying to parallel park a shopping cart. Even if someone used to drink, once they commit to Islam, that bottle's gotta go. Reeba Interest. From a spiritual perspective in Islam, charging or paying interest isn't just frowned upon, but it's listed as a spiritual crime. The Quran compares it to waging war against God and His messenger. The word is riba, and it means making money from money, without effort, risk, or fairness. It doesn't matter if it's a loan to a friend or a flashy savings account. If profit comes from interest alone, it's off limits. Islamic finance solves this with alternatives: trade, shared risk, and ethical contracts. The idea is simple. If someone's broke and you profit off their desperation, that's not business. Instead, that's injustice. Your money should work with people, not against them, because in Islam, passive profit at someone else's expense isn't income, it's an imbalance. Breaking fast without a valid reason. Ramadan isn't optional, it's one of Islam's 5 pillars. So if someone skips fasting without a real reason, not sickness, not travel, it's more than just slacking. It's breaking one of the core commitments of the faith. And doing it on purpose is not treated lightly. There are valid exemptions: illness, travel, and pregnancy. But if you're healthy, at home, and munching chips during daylight, then that's considered a major sin. And no, being kinda hungry doesn't count. The Prophet said that breaking a fast without excuse couldn't be repaid, even by fasting for a lifetime. It's about more than food. It's discipline, obedience, and spiritual connection. Ramadan isn't a diet, it's worship. So when you skip it for convenience, you're not just dodging hunger, but you're dodging devotion. Gambling. Islam doesn't just frown on gambling, but it blocks the whole path to it. Betting on sports, playing cards for cash, and even joining prize raffles is off limits. If money changes hands based on chance, it's not allowed. The idea isn't about fun or luck, it's about fairness. Gambling creates winners by creating losers. It breaks families, drains wallets, and turns money into a game instead of a responsibility. The Quran calls it a tool of Satan because it distracts from prayer, feeds greed, and makes people chase hope in the wrong direction. Even if it's just one round or just for fun, it's still gambling. Islam says wealth should come from effort, not dice rolls. Eating pork. You won't find bacon at an Islamic dinner table. Pork isn't just avoided, but it's explicitly forbidden in the Quran, not because of taste or culture, but because God said so. It's impure, the verse says. That's it. No long debate, just a clear red line. Even a small bite, whether in a dish, hidden in gelatin, or mixed into flavoring, is off limits. And it's not about being picky, it's about obedience. In Islam, what goes into your body matters. And pork didn't make the cut. Some people say it's just food, but in this case, food isn't neutral, it's a choice. And when God draws a boundary, even a slice of ham becomes a test of discipline. Dishonoring parents. In Islam, your parents aren't just family, they're sacred. The Quran mentions honoring them right after worshiping God. That's how serious it is. Being rude, raising your voice, or even sighing in annoyance is enough to cross the line. The Prophet once said, "Paradise lies at the feet of your mother." And that's not poetic, it's a warning. Disrespect isn't just bad manners, it's a spiritual violation. There's no "but they were annoying" clause. Even if they're difficult, Islam teaches patience, gratitude, and care. Feeding them, visiting them, or just listening when they ramble about the same story, all of that counts. Ignore them, mistreat them, or cut them off, and that's not just a social rift, it's a sin. Cutting ties with family. Under Islamic law, family isn't just important, but it's sacred. Ignoring relatives, holding grudges, or cutting people off over drama isn't seen as setting boundaries, it's seen as breaking a command. The Quran warns against severing family ties, and the Prophet Muhammad made it clear, turning your back on your relatives can block you from paradise. That includes parents, siblings, cousins, even the ones who only text you when they need something. You don't have to be best friends, but a check-in, a kind word, a little patience is part of the deal. Islam says to keep the bond, even if they're not keeping theirs. Because at the end of the day, you're not just protecting the relationship, you're protecting your own record. Showing off worship. Good deeds are judged by intention. So when someone prays, donates, or fasts just to get noticed, that's called Reeba, and it's a major sin. You're not worshiping God at that point, you're performing for people. It could be praying louder in public, posting your charity receipts, or quoting scripture just to look pious online. From the outside, it all seems noble, but inside is empty. The Quran warns that these show-off acts are rejected, even if they impress the crowd. Islam puts sincerity, ikhlas, above appearance. Deeds done for God count. Deeds done for clout don't. Backbiting. In Islam, talking behind someone's back isn't just bad manners, it's a major sin. The Quran compares it to eating your brother's flesh. Not as poetry, that's the literal imagery used to show how vile it is. Backbiting means saying something true about someone that they wouldn't want said. If it's false, then it's slander and even worse. What makes this sin dangerous is how casual it feels. A quick comment, a shared rumor, a joke that lands too hard, and suddenly reputations crack. It damages relationships in silence, one word at a time. The Prophet warned that speech can worship or destroy. So when the conversation shifts towards someone who isn't there, staying quiet isn't cowardice, it's discipline. Even if the tea is hot, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is sip nothing at all. Breaking promises. If you are a Muslim, keeping your word isn't just good manners. Instead, it's a matter of faith. When you make a promise, big or small, it becomes a trust. And if you break it without a real reason, it's counted as a serious fault. The Prophet Muhammad described breaking promises as a sign of hypocrisy, not because of one mistake, but because repeated broken words tell people they can't rely on you. It wears down trust. And once trust is gone, everything else gets shaky. This applies to everything, from business deals to everyday things, like saying you'll show up and never calling. If you're not sure you can do it, Islam teaches it's better to stay quiet than to make a promise you won't keep. Betraying trust. When someone trusts you with something, whether that be their words, their stuff, or their secrets, it's not just between you and them. In Islam, that trust becomes a responsibility before God. And if you break it, it's more than just disappointing someone, it's counted as a sin. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Maybe you promised to keep something private and casually mentioned it later. Maybe someone lent you money and you disappeared. That kind of betrayal sticks, and it damages more than just relationships. It weakens the bonds that hold a community together. Consuming forbidden wealth. Not all money is equal in Islam. It's not just what you earn, it's how you earn it. If the money comes from lying, cheating, bribes, or scamming someone out of what's theirs, it's considered haram. Even if it looks clean on paper, it doesn't count as clean in the eyes of God. The Quran gives special warnings about this, especially when it comes to stealing from orphans, hoarding wealth unfairly, or cutting corners in business. And let's be honest, you don't need to be a prophet to know that stealing from orphans is wrong. You build a mansion with that kind of money, but spiritually, the foundation's already crumbling. The idea is simple. Wealth is a test. If you got it the wrong way, it won't bless you. It'll follow you. And in the end, you're held accountable for every coin. Not just what you spent, but how it got into your hands in the first place. Using religion for personal gain. Some people don't turn to religion because they believe. They turn to it because it works. It gives them status, and it makes them look trustworthy. So they say all the right things in public, maybe lead prayers, drop a few verses, act extra strict when people are watching, but behind closed doors, it's a different story. Like someone running a religious fundraiser, but quietly keeping a slice for themselves, or using religious rules to control others, while breaking those same rules in private. Islam warns hard against this kind of behavior, because when religion gets used like a tool, it doesn't just fool people, it makes them lose faith altogether. You don't need to be perfect, but if the whole thing's an act, the damage goes way deeper than just hypocrisy. Lying about Islam. Making up rules and calling them haram just to win an argument. That's not religious, that's lying about religion. And it's a serious sin in Islam. Whether it's exaggerating what the Quran says, twisting hadiths to scare someone, or pretending to be a scholar when you're not, it all counts. The Prophet warned clearly, anyone who lies about him on purpose should prepare their seat in hell. That's not poetic, that's direct. Say someone tells their sibling, if you don't listen to me, you'll go to hell. But there's no source, no evidence, just vibes. That's misusing religion for control. And Islam says don't mess with God's words just to win a debate or sound righteous. If you're not sure, stay quiet. Because making stuff up in God's name is not just wrong, but it's dangerous.